Hello, and today we'll be playing By Your Hands. This new update came out on the 6th of this month, and this will begin day 5 for Kamil. A deep breath in, which became a jaw-cracking yawn. I blinked and rubbed my eyes, still feeling some grit at the corners. I hadn't ever woken up that early before. It was for Kamil's sake, so I was happy to do it. Well, maybe not happy, but still. The athletic complex was like the rest of the campus felt pretty much deserted. Even the earliest morning classes wouldn't start for another hour at least. I'd seen only a few other early rising students wandering here and there along the sidewalks, making their way to the dining hall, the student center, or the library. Getting their IDs checked by the security guards at the front gate for the day. Part of me had been worried the athletic complex would still be locked up, but thankfully that hadn't been the case. So there I was, leaning against the wall, checking my phone every so often, waiting for Kamil and whoever else would be showing up to work out with us. Leaning my head back to look up at the lights above. Shutting my eyes for just a moment. Just to rest them, just for a minute or two. Rex grunted, snorted, opened my eyes, didn't jerk upright with a strangled yelp. Sorry for the scare. Need some coffee or something? Maybe. We had grabbed some before leaving as per usual, but waking up so early in the morning meant running into Dr. Abraham while he was preparing to leave for work. That had led to explaining what I was doing, where I was going, and the reason why I was heading to the campus so early. And, well, I pushed myself away from the wall with another grunt. So, who's gonna be working out with us again? Well, I tried inviting Gary and Wyatt along again, but they've got some things to do before their first class. Same deal with Di, and I think Reggie's still asleep. So it's just gonna be you, me, Yusuf, and Kadir, Saul and Kyle, too, if they can get their asses out of bed for it. Cool. I had to keep myself from letting out a little sigh of relief that hearing Di wouldn't be there. I didn't know whether what had happened the day before was just a one-off or if it would become a problem going forward, but my thoughts must have been written plainly on my face. Kamil took a deep breath, crossed his arms over his chest, and looked away from me with a heavy sigh. Hey Rex, I wanted to apologize real quick for, yesterday. Things were getting out of hand between Yusuf and Di. Then everyone started ganging up on Di. And I just wanted to keep things chill, Then he started going off, and it turned into a whole thing, and this ain't growing frustration from the day before. I know it probably sounded like I have a problem with gay people, but I promise I don't, okay? I want to pick this choice right here, but I'm just gonna do this one anyway. Good old dependable Kamil. Always there to support his friends, keeping the peace and making sure nobody gets the short end of the stick. I forced a closed-lipped smile onto my face while reaching out to give him a pat on the shoulder. Thanks for, apologizing. And I'm gonna be honest, I did come across that way. It did come across that way, but I know you aren't like that, man. I did know that, right? It's like, I know you can see where the guy's coming from, but you can also see where me and the other guys are coming from too, right? Of course. Good. Then just keep it in mind, I guess. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I get it. It's all good. Just, yeah. I'm sorry. It's okay. Really. I gave the crocodile's tense shoulder another pat. His only response was a few lashes of his tail. Just when I was about to speak up again to break the awkward silence, it was broken for me. Hey. It was Kamil's turn to not jerk upright in the yelp. He rolled around while I leaned over to peer at the yak from behind the crocodile's butt. Yusuf. Hey, good morning. Morning. How long were you standing there? Yak swung. Okay. Well, now we're just waiting for. Good morning, Salon. Adair burst through the doors, a bright and beaming grin on his face. Kyle followed behind the convul, rubbing at the corners of his eyes with his forefinger and thumb. And bringing up the rear was Saul, the Sark holding a hand over his mouth, covering both his own jaw, quacking yawn in the sight of his own maw. Salam, good morning. You guys ready to get to it? As will ever be. Sorry about these two. Had to be a little persuasive to get them up and going. The convul chuckled, looking for one larger, bulkier man to the other. Back again, the Sark grumbled. And rolled his eyes, then pressed his lips together, trying to suppress another yawn, or maybe a small smile. Kyle covered his mouth to hide a yawn as well, then looked from Yusuf Kamil and then to me. How's it going with you guys? Good. Yeah, I can't complain. I opened my mouth, glanced the crocodile's way, and then nodded. Pretty tired myself. Not really used to getting up this early, but ready to get to it. Well then, what are we waiting for? Come on, I want to see some hustle. Since Reggie isn't here, I have to substitute for him. With a wide and evil grin, the convul held up a hand, fingers together and palm held flat, ready to give anyone who didn't hustle some of the panda's brand of encouragement. That got us all moving, with a few chuckles and swastika deals general direction from Kamil and Saul, a roll of the eyes from Kyle and snort from Houston. I had already stashed my satchel with everything for the day's classes in my locker, and nobody else needed to put anything they were carrying in theirs. So we all made our way down a long corridor which ran the length of the athletic complex together, past the indoor basketball court and a lot of classroom doors. Back outside, along the covered sidewalk next to the university pool. Into the campus gym, getting our IDs scanned by the student worker at the front desk. I looked around while sifting the duffel bag Kamil had told me to bring on my shoulder, resetting his weight. There were only a few other animals in the large, brightly lit room. Other students who apparently had the same idea to get in a workout before their morning classes. A couple running on the treadmills over by the wall of windows, another pair near the racks of weights. A small group or two grunting and huffing as they worked their limbs on some of the weird-looking machines in the middle of the gym. See, told you it would be better to come around now when it's not too crowded. Well, you're right, man. So let out another grumble. Kyle looked around as well, placid and expressionless. Yusuf grunted and shifted the weight of his own duffel bag on his shoulder. Then Kamil turned to me and cleared his throat. You did bring everything I told you, right? Water bottle, towel, change of clothes. Yep, I think I'm all set. So, how are we gonna do this? Just follow our lead, man. Move over to one side of the gym where some foam padded mats have been placed down on the floor. After setting our backs aside, we all started warming up with some stretches. Working our arms, our legs, all our joints, just like doing team stretch. After that, we spent some time running on the treadmills to get our blood pumping before making our way to the weightlifting section. I'll be honest, I had no idea what I was doing, but Kamil was there, as well as the others, and I could follow along well enough. Imitating Kamil, he picked out a pair of hefty dumbbells, stood near the line of mirrors, and started curling his arms upwards. Imitating Yusuf as he sat down on one of the benches, settled against the raised backrest, then held his own pair of weights up on either side of his head before lifting them high into the air. Imitating Saul is kneeled on another bench, one heavy weight hanging at his side to be hauled upwards. Imitating Kadir as he squatted down, his single weight held in both hands and carefully swung between his flexing thighs. Staring wide-eyed at Kyle as he hefted a pair of massive dumbbells like they weighed nothing. His biceps bulging, his neck tense, his shoulders and chest straining the taut fabric of his tank top. Ease, you don't need to sew us up that much, do you? A grunt of acknowledgement as the Komodo dragon finished his set and then lowered his waist to the floor. Don't blame me. Blame ROTC. Saul snorted out a chuckle. Kadir grinned widened even as he looked at his head. Even as he shook his head aside, Kamil moved closer to stare at whatever so had just been made. All three of them looked over at me before Kamil could speak up to explain. Kyle nodded. He seemed to have mistaken the source of my confusion. Yeah, Dad set me up for it during high school. It was a fucking nightmare, but it got me into some training to get big. He sat up straighter, his broad-shouldered and barrel-chested, big in every sense of the word. I can see that. Helps with busting through the defense line out of the football field, too, so I guess it was pretty damn worth it. And it's all natty. Of course, Dad would really have taken me to the furnace if I even thought about juicing. Yeah, I know, just gotta be careful. Just gotta be sure, right? My brow forward as I looked over at the crocodile. Kamil's eyes met mine, then flipped away, and then he shook his head with a small, awkward smile. Even without him saying a word, I could hear his reassuring voice loud and clear. Don't worry about it. I signed and looked back at Kyle, then past him when Saul's eyes caught mine. The Sark's brow was furrowed as well. As he looked at me, he looked at the Komodo dragon. He smirked and clapped the reptile white in the center of his wide back. While we were all resting, you want to give the newbie a little gun show? Huh? Sure. Was gonna stretch some more after that set anyway. He rolled his shoulder while reaching across with his free hand to knead the bulging muscles. Is somebody sigh all of a sudden? There's no tease, Rex. What? Kyle's just showing off the fruits of his labor. He turned his beaming grin to the Komodo dragon. Maybe you could give Rex some advice on how to get as jacked as you. Kyle looked like he was contemplating that, glanced over to me, up and down. Then, after sifting to sit up straight on his bench, he lifted both arms up and flexed. Curled one bulky limb in front of his chest, both his bicep and his pectoral bulging as he let out another grunt. Hunched over and brought his hands together to show off the musculature of his back, chest, and shoulders. I couldn't stop myself from watching, staring, really open and wide-eyed. At least the others were looking as well, interested in seeing the Komodo dragon show off. I just hoped that the reason for my interest wasn't too obvious. Wow. Impressive, huh? Yeah. Kamil cleared his throat and shifted from foot to foot while his ears flicking. Yeah, hard work really does pay off, huh, Kyle? That's right, hard work and discipline. Is that it? I mean, it was a struggle to keep my eyes on Kyle's face as I gestured. He shrugged, then relaxed his pose in favor of rolling his shoulders and neck. Eat big, lift big, get big, simple as. Another shrug, then he lifted and curled one of his arms again, not at the mound of his bicep. Go ahead. Come on, guys, we're kind of wasting time with this. Kamil was probably right, but Kyle was offering. It wouldn't hurt to feel over the Komodo dragon's bulky arm just a little bit, right? Just a quick squeeze. I wish I was to give that bicep a prod, then wrap my hand as far around it as I could. It was hard stone. Are all of you done with the benches yet? I flipped and drew my hand back. There was a cheetah standing nearby, giving us, Yusuf included, an impatient scowl. Yeah, sorry, we're all done. Just need to wipe these down real quick and get these weights whacked. Come on, guys. The crocodile directed us in cleaning off our benches, grabbing wet wipes from nearby dispensers specifically for doing so, and putting our dumbbells back where we got them from. Then he led us over to the exercise machines to continue our group workout. As we moved from contraption to contraption, I hung back to observe the others pursuing them with the proper form before taking my turn. Chest flies, Saul and Kyle grunting, groaning, and sweating as they knocked out set after set. Sitting rows, Kadir setting the weight low on his turn so he could do more reps than the rest of us combined. Pull downs and overhead presses. The material of Yusuf's tank top was soaked with sweat by the time he finished, stood up with a huff and moved over to the side. While I took his place, I saw him making his way over to where Kamil was taking a swig of his water bottle. Kamil? What's up, man? Can you come and spot me? Oh, sure. Excuse us for a bit, guys. In fact, Kamil let Yusuf lead him off towards one of the tall, standing racks set up along the wall. Alright then. I guess we'll just do our own thing. Miss West, you're in my mind. You want to tag along, Kadir? That scrawny ass of yours could use some bulk. It's called being svelte, you lump, and pass. Wouldn't want to ruin my figure, you know? The Sark and Carwell said a laugh with one another. Then the former turned toward me with a wide toothy grin. How about you, newbie? Newbie, was I? I struggled and took a sip from my water bottle. Wanted to buy some time to think before responding. Honestly. Let's see what I'm doing first. Saul nodded, then made his way back over to the weightlifting section with Kyle. After wiping down the seat of the overhead press machine, giving Kadir a wave and move to follow. The Komodo dragon was bustling around the pair's chosen beds, getting things set up. Ensuring that the bar rack, but shorter than the one Yusuf had led Kamil towards, was positioned properly over the head of the bench, holding over a few large, round, hefty-looking plates so he could slide them onto either end of the bar. Securing those plates in place with a springy clip after glancing over for Saul's approval. So how do we do this? The Sark must have misunderstood my question. He looked from me to Kyle and back again, humming. Usually me and Kyle do a few sets each and then switch off. Shouldn't be too hard to fit you in too though. A surge of heat across my snout and cleared my throat. Sounds good. Are you gonna go first then? Yeah, less of a hassle to add plates or that to take them off, right? Yeah. I took along with the other male, then watched as he laid himself down on the bench and scooted up under the bar. Then Kyle moved to stand right at the Sark's head, helping to lift the weight up off the rack so Saul could begin. Lowering the bar down, not to rest it on his chest, but allowing it to hover just above those bulging pectorals. Watching as he pushed it back up, biceps and shoulders flexing with the movement. Down and then up, down then up, everywhere counted off by his spotter. I tried to keep my eyes on the movements and not the Sark's muscles, but Saul let out a low groan and held the bar up high, and signaled apparently for Kyle to step forward and help him guide it back onto the rack. Then the Sark sat up, stretching his neck and rolling his shoulders. Reaching to grab the water bottle on the floor next to him for a long swig. Turning himself on the bench and giving me a nod. Your turn, man. Thank you. Your turn, man. Think you want some more weight, or is it good? I looked from the Sark to the plates on the bar, to the Komodo dragon. How much do you put on, Kyle? A lot more than that. You can try it out if you want. Just don't want you to hurt yourself. On the one hand, it probably wouldn't be good to push myself too hard. On the other hand, live big, get big, as Kyle had said earlier. And this fits right now. Well then, have at it. And I can spot you if you want. Sure, sounds good to me. I took my place on the bench, lying back and scooting up into position under the bar. Saul moved him close to stand over me, making sure I had good grip while lifting that weighted bar up into the air. Our eyes meet and I gave him a nod in response to his silent question. Then with a gusty huff I began. Down and then up, slow and measured. Down, then up, working my chest back and shoulders. Down, up. Keep my attention on. Feeling exertion, I guess. That familiar sensation of muscles bulging, flexing, and extending to soreness, dull but satisfying, starting to set in. I feel good in a lot of ways, especially with the other two males kept watching my prowess. I went in time with the Sark counting off every rep, trying to push myself as far as I could go. Just like the physicals at the lab, just like the drills, coach will have us do out on the field. Just needed to get used to doing it on my back rather than face down. I surprised myself with the number of reps I ended up doing in that set. When it was done, Saul helped to guide the bar back onto the rack so I could sit up. Nice work, newbie. Thanks, man, and thanks for spotting me. No problem at all. With that, he stepped back so I could stand, stretched my aching arms and shoulders, and wiped the sweat off my brow. You want to do another set after me and Saul? Then I'm gonna take a rest and then see what the other guys are doing. Sounds good. Let us know if you want. Let us know if you change your mind, newbie. The Sark reached over and clapped me on the shoulder for a laugh. I ignored a pulse of heat across my snout and gave both of them a smile return. With another swig from a water bottle, I settled in to watch the pair continue their workout for a bit as I rested my aching muscles. Once I had recovered, I gave both Saul and Kyle a wave before stepping away. Then I turned to look over my other workout option. Since we still had some time, the carnivore was in the middle of his own workout, huffing with exertion atop one of the machines. Standing upright, his hands keeping a firm grip on the vertical handlebars, working his legs against the pedals of the machine while his arms swung back and forth. Almost like he was running very slowly, his calves and thighs bunching and flexing with the motion. I kept my eyes on controlled, smooth, even. Making sure his back was straight and upright, engaging with his muscles as he breathed in deep and huffed out slowly. I could only guess that was the point, to get his entire body moving like it would while running up and down the football field. Take a picture, it'll last longer. Do what? Kamil's movements came to a halt as he turned his head to look back at me with raised eyebrows and a wide grin. You gonna just stand there all morning or what? No, I never adjusted the machine he was using. Well, now it's your choice. Go on and hop up on that one. He gestured to the machine next to him. I followed the convoy's direction, scheduling myself on the pedals, having to grab the touchscreen to steady myself as they shifted and rocked underneath me. Kamil meanwhile leaned over to start pointing out the different controls. That's for controlling the incline, and the resistance more means that you'll be working harder to move. Less means it'll be easier so you can go for longer. Kinda like with the weights, same basic concept here, but instead of strength, this will get you trimming down and helping you build up your stamina. I glanced down at myself. I like to think I was okay on both, but the point was all this was to train so we'd be better out on the field, right? Alright, so which one should I do? Try it out on a lower setting so you can get used to it, then work your way up to where you're feeling it the most. I tapped on the touchscreen a few times and then began mimicking the convoy's movements once the timer started counting, gripping the handlebars and pumping my legs, keeping my shoulders up and my back straight. Feeling muscles in my legs, my arms, and even my torso clenching, flexing, being worked by the motion of the exercise. That's right, you got it. The convoy straightened up to resume his own workout, glancing over every shoulder to make sure I was handling things well. I spent a good while with Kamil, slowly increasing the setting on the elliptical machine until I was sort of sweating and satisfied. By the time it was done, it felt like I just run a few miles, and apparently, according to the screen I had, my legs felt like jelly for a moment as I stepped down, found my water bottle, and took a few swigs. Kamil was resting as well, panting and huffing while he rubbed himself down with his towel. You good, man? Yeah, I'm good. I think I've got enough of ellipticals for a while. Yeah, it really takes a lot out of you, huh? He laughed, grunted while stretching, and then straightened up. I'm gonna hang out here for a while longer. You gonna head off? Yeah, I think I'll check on the others. Alright then, happy exercising. I got the cover a nod of gratitude, and then a friendly wave, leaving him behind and heading off to see what other workouts I could do. Since we still had some time. I wandered over to join the pair as he stood next to the tall rack, a barbell loaded with metal plates set at just the right height for someone of Yusuf's size to duck under it. They were speaking in low, hushed voices, both ungulates lashing their tails every now and then. When Kamil caught sight of me approaching, he straightened up and put a wide smile on his face. Oh, Wax, sorry about earlier. Didn't mean to ditch you. You want to do some squats with us? Yusuf flipped one of his ears. Sure, if you guys don't mind me joining you. Not all. Yeah, I was actually gonna do a set myself real quick. How about you help Yusuf spot me so you can see how it's done? I looked to the yak. He just shrugged. Alright, that sounds just good to me. With a laugh and a few more lashes of his tail, Kamil ducked under the bar to settle it across his shoulders. Yusuf helped him get into position, the crocodile widening his stance and making sure he had a good grip. Then, with a grunt of exertion, Kamil began. Squatting down, his back held straight, hauling the weight back up while letting out a gusty huff of breath. Down, and then up, down, and then up. And all the while, I kept my focus on arms held up and out at right angles, shoulders held straight underneath the bar. Going down without letting his hips cock backwards or his firmly planted feet lift off the mat, then pushing himself back up with his tensing legs and thighs. He made it look so easy. Every breath was huffed out of him, evenly measured, his every movement slow and controlled. Yusuf counted off the crocodile's reps at a low grumble, and then moved to help Kamil put the bar back onto the rack once the whole set was done. Alright, your turn, Rex. Alright. I took a step forward and ducked under the bar, settling it across my shoulders the way Kamil did. Need a little less weight? More weight? Nah, it's alright. I grunt as I move upright, the crocodile helping me to lift the weighted bar off the rack and step into position. Another as I planted my feet, shifting my shoulders and back into the proper positioning and tightening my grip. One last moment to prepare myself, and then I started. Squatted down while holding my back straight, hauling the weight back up while letting out a gusty huff of breath. Down and then up, down, then up. Hearing Kamil count off the reps behind me. Focusing on the clenching and flexing of my muscles and the burn of exertion settling into my thighs, my legs, my rear. When I finished with my set, Kamil helped me whack the bar again before giving me a hearty smack on the back. How are you feeling? Pretty good. Could go for a few more sets of that, I think. Alright. But listen, Yusuf and I wanted to talk to you about some stuff real quick, primary to primary. It's kind of tense in my jaw as I shook from the yak to the crocodile and back again, but I nodded. Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave you guys to it. Thanks. See you in a bit, man. Yeah, see you later. Oh man, I was feeling more than just the state of the workout as I stepped away to give the two herbivores some privacy. But it wasn't like I was Kamil's only friend. Couldn't expect him to let me stick with him all the time, right? So I swallowed down both the prickly feeling and a gulp from my water bottle while looking over my other workout options. I spent a while just drifting around the gym, doing a few more dumbbell exercises, and discreetly watching others using the machines before trying them out for myself. Just passing the time before my first class while continuing to work out on my own. Kamil found me while I was in the middle of doing what he called leg presses, sitting up straight and lifting my legs in front of me against the weight of a padded bar across my ankles. Apparently, Kadir, Yusuf, and Kyle all needed to get to their first class, as Saul was planning to rest back in his room at the firehouse, and since Kamil didn't have any classes at all that day, he had a few errands he wanted to run. So he led me over to where the others were cooling down, and we all stretched our sore limbs and ligaments together. I was kind of hoping we all head back to the locker room to shower and change together afterwards, but I was gonna just run back to the house and real quick, kind of didn't bring my class stuff along, and I need to go get anyway. Same. I looked to Kamil and Yusuf, but the former just shrugged and chuckled. Sorry man, we can hang out some more after practice, alright? Okay. I'll see y'all later then. Later, man. See you later. Peace. We all parted ways, the others heading out the front door of the gym and down the covered sidewalk. I made my way into the athletic complex and down the long hallway back towards the locker room. Shoulders sagging just a little, feet trudging along on the tile. Thinking, probably way too much. I'd been just fine by myself plenty of times before. Even before Connor moved away, there were many stretches of time during the day when he and Kamil would be away at school or spending time with their friends. And beyond the occasional examination or session with Dr. Tanya, I kept out of the way of the researchers and lab workers for the most part. I was fine with finding ways to occupy myself, being alone. But pause, stifling, sniff air, turn head, yak, behind me, quiet, staying out of peripheral sight. Yusuf lowered the hand that was just about to grab the handle of the locker room door and then turned fully to face the other male. You needed something? His ears fled for a moment before he relaxed his own stiff posture. His shoes shifted, scraping against the towel. His expression not really much more readable, even with his hair fur pulled up and out his face. Can we talk? Sure. You wanna? I just invited him to follow me in. But the yak just shook his head in response. Was he biting his lip? Not now, later. Okay. After practice then? I nod. Alright, I'll see you then. Another nod, and Yusuf turned on his heel and made his way back down the long hallway. Well then, so my head inside while heading into the locker room. I didn't know what Yusuf's problem with me was all of a sudden, but he was certainly something. Kind of reminded me a bit of Owen, if I'm being honest. My thoughts still wandering, I tripped out of my workout clothes and headed towards the showers. I was the only one there, so I had plenty of time to myself to continue thinking, to enjoy the hot water pouring over my body, to prepare myself for the day. Another morning of classes passed by, just like the ones before. History, then health, then calculus after that. Met up with Connor coming out of the mathematics building, and he finally convinced me to run off campus to pick up some lunch with him. We had to be quick about it, but it was fun to walk and talk with the rooster heading to and from one of the fast food places nearby. After biology, I had a bit more time to myself since I wasn't having to run to the music building. Then it was time once more for practice. And after that, Nightbear made a grab for it. Dude, spoilers. Alright, I won't say nothing more. You'll just have to see what happens with Captain. Nope, can't hear you. Laughter from Gary, a sigh in a row of the eyes from Kyle, the other teammates filtering and greeting one another, sharing a few words and smiles and gestures with one another. Companionship between males, easy and carefree. Kadir was keeping more to himself to just focus on stripping out of his clothes and strapping on his gear. I was tempted to sneak a few peeks, but then Leon stalked into the locker room as well. Head held high, shoulders back, a vague look of contempt on his face as he nodded in acknowledgement at the other males on the varsity team, and completely blew past the JVs with little more than a flick of his tail. Guess the talk with him didn't go all that well. I sighed and turned my attention back to putting on my practice uniform, strapping and settling things into place, and pulling my pants up and over my pants and jaw. That's when Kamil enters the room. So long, guys. Hey man, nice dress. I told you it's a thobe. Oh right, it is Friday, isn't it? So how was Jama? Pretty good. Imam Ansari was leading us today. He did a very good sermon on prioritizing the needs of others in our worldly service. Be excellent to each other and all that. But yeah, basically. But like communication is really important too. You never know what you might find friendly or enjoyable that someone else might find detestable. Gee, I do wonder who could possibly benefit from that kind of lesson. He gave Reggie a pointed look. The panda laughed and waved the griffin off. Oh, were they selling any snacks after you guys got done? They usually do that, right? Try to bum some? Maybe. Gotta have energy for practice, right? Come on, don't you want to prioritize the needs of others? Kamil snorted and rolled his eyes, then aimed a swat in Reggie's general direction. I was gonna pick something up, as a matter of fact, but I didn't have time to do that, and was back over here for practice. I did ask one of the guys I play with to grab some stuff for me, though. That wouldn't happen to include some gas, would it? It would, as a matter of fact. But if the guys are interested, you could come along with me next Friday. Gotta follow the rules, and you might just have to watch from the back, but I'm sure you'll be welcome. You can pick up some of your own snacks afterwards. Yeah, thanks for the offer. The couple shrugged and let out an awkward laugh. The panda sweats behind one ear, not looking the crocodile's way. Fortunately for them, depending on how you look at it, Leon broke things up right about then. Stop wasting time, get your asses out on the field. We don't have all goddamn day for you to sit here yapping at one another. Hurry up and get out of your dress, Kamil. It's a thobe. But Leon was already stalking out the locker room door. I saw a glare at the line. Then I heard another sigh, heavier, gustier than the one I let out from beside me. Guess we still gonna have to deal with him for a while, huh? Oh, right. Yeah. I directed my gaze downward, putting my attention on adjusting the straps of my gear while Di started chasing beside me. Kinda wish the other guys wouldn't give him so much shit either. Just because he's, religious? Yeah. I knew that Kamil's family believed in things beyond the physical world. From time to time, one researcher or another would mention such things as well. I never really gotten many details. Dr. Abraham hadn't wanted my head filled with that sort of nonsense. But was that really something other animals would give him shit for? I glanced over, unable to resist asking, "What do you think about all that?" The dragon shrugged and put on his practice jersey. It's not my cup of tea. He can get a little overenthusiastic about it sometimes, but it doesn't bother me. What, do you have a problem with it? I had to try very hard to not to literally bite my tongue to keep from saying something snide in response to that. Not at all. He's one of my best and oldest friends, so I know what he's like. Right, yeah. He bent over, lifting one foot and then the other onto the nearby bench to tie his cleats, and took the opportunity to slip away. Well, gotta get out onto the field sometime today, so yeah, later. Much later, hopefully. After setting my locker, I turned and joined the others making their way out to the field, ready for another long, sweaty afternoon. Hey, this is the public build that adds to part 1 of Day 5 of Kamil's route. Lots of sweaty men moving their arms, and that makes me very happy. And Rex talked through a little of his issues with Kamil and his homophobia. And so not Islam. So what's to think of this day? Shelly's going to love hearing this. Now, do me a favor and rate the game if you haven't. I'm kind of obliged to ask you this since you like it so much. What do you think of Kamil now? I feel like every update he's getting worse and worse, so it's good that you're starting to like him more instead. I like him a little bit. Just a little bit since he apologized, that's all. I don't really like him more, but just a tiny little bit since he apologized. Still kind of down on him. Really shows your character. Click the button on the left to become a patron and get early access to bills as well as WIP. guides, and other stuff in the higher tiers. This build had a weird development cycle. Nemo was dealing with personal stuff while the holidays were coming up, so Chelly thought that it was going to be a really difficult development cycle coming off finals. At first, developing this build was pretty smooth, all things considered. There were a lot of little things that were changed and or revised here. But then Chell Lamo fucked up and didn't realize that Nemo was busy with personal stuff and holidays until the last second, so he had to postpone the second part of day 5 for a few days. It's unfortunate it ended you like this, but the good news is that Chelly has learned his lesson. Or not, I don't really care. I just want my game to get a goddamn update already. Day 5 is a really fun one that has a lot of great character moments and set up big time for day 6. Believe it or not, this is the first day where most of it was written by Chelly himself instead of Nemo taking full charge in the writing department. Of course, Nemo still edited all because Chelly is a bit of a himbo when it comes to that, but it's still pretty significant. Chelly would also like to tell you guys about a new album released by Chance de La Soul and Be There Is. It's a future funk album themed around the 2000s with an upbeat and funky tune throughout. We're not sponsored or anything. Chelly just wanted to tell you guys about this album because he likes the artist. I'm more into goth rock, but future funk is cool too. You can check it out by clicking on the album cover on the right. This build's fan contribution is actually a piece of music by K Composer. You've been listening to it so far. It's a WIP synthwave mix of Lecherous Dinosaur, aka the song that plays when Rex is beating his meat. You check out Cade on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, or Newgrounds. Make sure to let Chelly know on Twitter, HL, or Discord if you have any fan content related to any of his games, be it fan art, views, or whatever. Also tell Chelly to get Melchora Bloom out of hiatus. It's getting a little lonely. Today's rule of the 8A FBF SBD BBLT is number 34. There's nothing wrong with being pussy. It might get you an ass that's pussy. This doesn't mean that you should coerce people to have sex with you, rather that you shouldn't be afraid to speak out when someone you care about is hiding things they really shouldn't be hiding, or let them to do things they want to you. Oh my god, I'm finally done. Goodbye, you sexy peoples. Oh, that was a lot then. About Kamil, still a little bit down on him, but I decided to say that I like him a little bit more because he did apologize for yesterday. He said that he doesn't really have a problem with gay people, so I decided to say I like him a little bit more. It's only because of that. And I think, at the end there, it's obvious he's Muslim, and he listened to the imam and the mosque, and I think part of the reason why he's kind of hesitant about gays because of the religion, I guess, maybe. The imam probably doesn't like that. And probably spoken against it before. I don't know. Anyway, Liam, he's very unlike himself. He's like a totally different person now. When we first saw him, he was this quiet and calm guy. But it seemed like some spirit came into him and took over. He's a totally different person now. He's just as bad as Tucker was. I don't know what happened to him. I mean, I understand he's a captain now. He's has a lot of expectations on him, but I didn't think he would change completely like that. But anyway, I really don't like Leon now. I mean, I haven't. It seems like each update, every update that passes, it gets worse and worse with his attitude and the way he treats the teammates. And about Yusuf, I wonder if Yusuf is Muslim also. That sounds like a common name Muslim people have. I wonder if he's Muslim too. I don't know, maybe that's the reason why both he and Kamil decided to talk to each other. You know, near the end, when when Kamil told Rex that he and Yusuf have to talk to each other, them being herbivores and maybe also because both of them are Muslim, I don't know. But again, Yusuf, in the last update, when the teammates were in that restaurant having a big argument, he very much supports gay people. He supports gay people, so maybe he's a Muslim too, but just very liberal on that, at the top of gay people, very liberal, despite, anyway. So I wonder what Yusuf wanted from Rex at the end, what he wanted to just say to Rex. I have no idea, but anyway. So we got to see plenty of workout and exercising there. And Cal, he was the biggest and, he's very big, very muscular. With the biceps and the chest and all that, like about to rip through his tank top. I think he and Kamil and I think Dai too, they're like the most buff characters in the VN. And Yusuf and that Ego and the few other ones are like the ones with the kind of chubby, big bellies like that. Wait for this ambulance siren to go by. Hey, so what else I have to say? Well, that's all I wanted to say right now. So this is part 1 for day 5. So the next part, like part 2 for day 5, should come out sometime next month. But you can subscribe to Patreon. I have it out here. I don't know which one of these are Patreon, but anyway. If you want to watch part 5, if you want to watch day 5, part 2, you can subscribe to Patreon, the game's Patreon page, and watch it now. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until next month, at least, until that second part for day 5 comes out. So, thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.